2, 3, 4. Places, almost time for places. Thank you, 5.
5 minutes to places.
Thank you, 5.
Thank you, 5. So, Chrystal.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first time, your first artistic experience where you were like, yeah, I want to be up on stage. I want to do this.
It's kind of funny. When I was a kid at my church, we used to do recitations. And I guess I was about 3 when I had my first one. But what's everybody looking at me for? I don't have no speech to say. I just come to say Merry Christmas and I'll be on my way. And the people in my church really liked it. But I think the defining moment for me wasn't a theater experience at all. I was at Kennywood. I was probably about 5 years old. My mother took me to Kennywood and put me on the merry-go-round. Now, my grandmother was a big fan of Dale Evans, Queen of the West. And I always thought that when I grew up, I was going to be a cowgirl. So when I got on that merry-go-round, I decided to live my fantasy. So I had a little hat and I started beating on the horse. And the people were watching me. And I didn't do it for them. I did it for me. And they were like, look at our little girl. And I loved that. And they were laughing. I said, so when the merry-go-round went around and I was on the dark side, I said, what can I do next? And then I said, okay, I'll ride the horse backwards. So I flipped around on the horse and I was riding it backwards. I started riding side saddle. And the people were like just laughing and loving me. And then finally, my mother, when I went to stand up on the merry-go-round on the horse, snatched me off. Wow. I can't believe I got that kind of power to make those people watch me like that. That was amazing. So I think I said I could have figured it out. So when I realized that you could actually do it, was, I guess I was watching Reach Quartet, the Sunday matinee movie.
Uh-huh.
And I saw Summer Stock with Judy Garland. And I was like, oh, wow, I think I want to do that. But I also thought to myself, I want to do it. You're a Black girl. How are you going to do that?
Mm.
And then we kept watching the movie. And finally, I saw Stormy Weather and Lena Horne.
Stormy Weather.
And Lena Horne. And when I heard seen her do the drama, I said, that's what I want to do right there.
Woo!
That was the moment. I did not know how to express it, really to get involved. But I think that was the defining moment when I said, it is possible.
Wow. So seeing yourself reflected.
Yeah, because I didn't think Black people really did that.
Right.
And then when I saw Lena, I was like, I maybe it's possible. It's possible.
Wow.
So yeah.
And that you've been doing it ever since.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I think my first formal theater experience happened on something dark. I tried out for my high school play. And I thought I did a great audition, and the student body clapped at me and said, "Oh, you're great." So, and I felt like I did. It was for a play played Send Me No Flowers, a Doris Day, Rock Hudson kind of screwball comedy.
Okay.
And I did really well, and I'm thinking I got a part in this. And I was called into the office at my high school and told, I'm sorry, we don't have a part for you because you're Black.
What?
Uh-huh.
They said because you're Black.
Well, they said because you're colored men, but yeah. And they said we can't have a Caucasian guy and a Black girl together.
For like a love interest thing.
Mm-hmm. And I said, well, how about, is there any other part I could do? I said, what about the doctor? Because there was a doctor there. And that's when they told me, no, because you're a female. And I said, well, dad, I'm just out of luck. And I said, well, what if somebody doesn't learn their part? Can I have that part of the doctor? And they said, yes. If somebody doesn't do it, we'll contact you. And they did not. And I saw the play, and there was a girl doing the part of the doctor, but it wasn't me.
Wow. Wow.
But actually, it worked out in my favor because what it propelled me to do was to write my first play called Black Journey, so I could be in a play myself, and the school allowed me to do it. Unfortunately, the administration told the student body, because I went to a really phenomenally white school, they told the student body you didn't have to stay and watch it, and a lot of them left. But that experience of us working together to put up our own play at that time really said this is really possible. And my high school teacher, his name was Shirley Custer, who later founded the South Park Conservatory Theater in South Park.
Wow.
He called me and said, hey, you're very talented. I saw your audition and I want to expose you to something. So she took me to the Odd Chair Playhouse, which was located near South Hills Village. It was a tent theater with all odd chairs, different chairs, under the direction of Tom Thomas. And she told me about how I auditioned. I got on as an apprentice. And I apprenticed with none other than the famous Bobby Marshall, the good Chicago producer. Joe Negri was the music director. Tommy Lafitte, Bill Thompson, all these great actors from Pittsburgh. Leland Garrett. So it was all a musical, but I loved it. It was the hardest job I ever did. It was crazy.
Wow.
But I loved it. And so if it wasn't for that, and it wasn't for Shirley Custer intervening in my life, I probably would not be doing theater now. And I think I started when I would say 5 is when the bug hit me, but I was about 14 or 15 when I did the apprentice at the Odd Chair.
Wow.
And, been doing theater ever since that. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, in the face of all of that rejection, all of that keeping you out, and you kept going. So what continues to keep you going? What continues to inspire you to keep doing it?
Well, I think to be amused, if you will. Like I said, I grew up in the Black church, and my community really loved me. In fact, I have ladies that follow me to every play, unless I don't tell them to come because it might be too offensive for them. They support me, and they have shown me a great deal of love. And so they are my muse in my writing and every character that I put on the stage, the different ladies that I grew up with. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So they keep me keep going and just the love of it all, to be able to honor all the ladies and men that I see when I play different characters on stage. I really love that. So yeah, that's what keeps me going.
Well, is there a dream project, a project you really, really would love to work on?
Oh, there's so many, Tam. There's some parts I love to play. I love to play Etta James.
Yes.
Love her on stage. I also like to do Rose from Fences. I've never had that opportunity.
Really?
Yeah, love to do her. I have a play that I'm working on, Monster Number 10, which is a collection of the stories of some of these people that would talk to me from my neighborhood, and we're adding music to it. A gentleman named Chuck Ferry is helping me with Cheryl Walker and Sam, and Kevin.
Wow.
Lots of great people are trying to help me put it together. COVID kind of slowed us down, but
sure.
At some point we'll get back to it.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you about your barriers, but you seem to be breaking all kinds of barriers and always have,
Well, I guess I'm the person that sees the bucket half full and always, because everything that was crazy in my life has turned out to benefit me. Just some really experience, and I'll share one. Okay. I was tutoring for reading.
Okay.
A young man up in Rhode Island, in Providence, and his name was Irving. And he said, Chrystal, could you come as a moral support for me? Because I'm going to do an audition. And I said, sure. So I go as moral support, and there was George Bass and Ramona Bass of Rights and Reasons, a theater department out of Brown University.
Okay.
And they said, Ricardo Bates White, who has Mixed Magic Theater now, I believe it's still in Rhode Island. They asked me to read for a play called Day of Absence. I just was thinking I was reading, and they said, well, you have the part. I was like, what? I wasn't even auditioning for real. But I said, yeah, I'm going to do it. But I said, I can't do it unless you give Irving the part. So they did give Irving the part as Rastus. And I became great friends with Ramona and George, Ricardo Bates White, and Larry Hamlin of the National Black Theater Festival.
Wow.
We all worked together. So every kind of weird thing or obstacles always changed into something interesting and grateful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
So yeah, it's been a ball. That's what I'll say. That it's been a ball.
It's
all the new experience. Yeah.
Well, you sure are an inspiration to a lot of people, including me. I love working with you.
Oh,
and
we have a great time.
Oh, such a good time! I can't believe it. I mean, we have to write about that one.
Oh yeah, we take the good and the bad times. Huh?
All of it. But is there anybody that you are whose work you're really loving right now?
Well, you know, since I remain mostly a local actress,
Mm-hmm.
I'm still interested in all the new works, like the New Work Festival and all the new playwrights that are coming along. I do like that. Of course, over there at Pittsburgh Playwrights, Mark Suther's fearlessness of his projects, and that always inspires me. And of course, your Midnight Radio, that cracks me up. I love it. Like Saturday night and Living Color come together, and you're just using whoever the talent so creatively in the different people. But I'll tell you something that I did miss. Bria Walker did Fires in the Mirror, which I did many years ago at City Theater.
Yes.
But it was one night only on a video cast. And I loved the play and I loved the video. And I'm sorry I missed it. Anybody out there in the world would just send some good vibes so she could put it up again. I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
But Jordan Peele, his Get Out and Us, loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it.
I love Bria. She's wonderful.
Places.
Oh, it's showtime.
Oh, I can get mine. All right,
Bust me up. I start in my curlers.
I'm first.
You look beautiful.
Bye.
Have a great show.
Thank you. You too now.